Rewiring dreams one junction box, one stripped wire, one satisfied customer at a time. My grandfather's battered aluminum tackle box, dented from decades of base battles and family legends. Planted squarely in the dew-kissed gravel like a declaration of war. Behind me, slightly out of focus but sharp in my heart, Lila, my 15-year-old firecracker going on world-weary philosopher. Queen, hoodie pulled low over her bedhead, earbuds dangling like lifelines to a saner world, eyes narrowed in that trademark teenage skepticism that says, "Dad, this better be worth dragging me out." Here before my first coffee, and Noah, my 12-year-old sidekick, still convinced I can fix the universe with a multimeter, a roll of electrical tape, and a dad joke so corny it could fertilize the entire neighborhood lawn, clutching his neon green Spider-Man fishing rod like it's the sword Excalibur freshly pulled from the stone, his face a mix of excitement and confusion. 20 feet away, striding into sharp focus like the villain in a blockbuster reveal, Margaret Maggie Whitmore, the iron-fisted HOA president of Silver Pine Subdivision in Cedar Hollow, her silver bob haircut. Knife through silk. "Officer, this man is a direct threat to community safety, property values, and everything we've built here. Arrest him for trespassing now." But I, center frame. Vertebra by vertebra, and detonates behind your eyes like the 4th of July fireworks in your soul, because the 15 grand I drained from my retirement account overnight, every last penny-eyed. Yellowstone's old faithful erupting like nature's own grand finale just to prove to Noah that geysers are real magic, not CGI. That exact sum just bought the precise 0.3-acre strip of forgotten earth, complete with 200 feet of pristine lakefront shoreline, a tiny heron nesting island 50 yards out like a bonus punctuation mark in this revenge script, that her 8 grand decorative wrought iron monstrosity is bolted into with concrete footings poured in blatant trespass, and the single, gleaming brass key dangling from my finger, catching the sunrise like a holy relic, is the only one that opens the padlocked gate to Blue Heron Lake, turning Maggie's fortress into her most expensive lawn ornament, and she's about to learn, in glorious 4K high definition. Humiliation. What happens when you build your petty empire on sand you never actually owned? Sand that's been orphaned in the state land bank for 15 long years, waiting for a dad like me to claim it with a certified check and a grudge. Let me rewind the reel, pull back the camera for the full origin story, because this epic didn't erupt with flashing police lights and news vans. My dad, Gramps, the old surveyor with hands like leather maps, and I nodded together one sticky summer afternoon when Lila turned 6, her pigtails whipping wild like helicopter blades in a hurricane. As she screamed, "Higher, Daddy, higher," touched the clouds, Noah barely 4 and clinging to my leg like a baby koala terrified of heights, but mesmerized by his big sister's joy. The kind of swing that transformed lazy, mosquito-humming afternoons into slow-motion magic moments etched in eternity, the sun glinting off the lake's surface like scattered diamonds. Dragonflies stitching lazy figure eights through the humid air, the smell of sunscreen mingled with freshly cut grass and charcoal from a distant barbecue thick enough to chew and savor. We'd trekked that gravel path every single Saturday for 11 golden years, me slinging the tackle box over my shoulder like a badge of paternal honor passed down from Gramps, Lila armed with her juice box slurped through a striped straw and whatever dog-eared fantasy novel she was devouring that week. Harry Potter one summer, Percy Jackson the next, Noah toddling behind with his bright red plastic bucket destined for frog-catching expeditions that always ended in solemn releases back to the reeds, and Blue Heron Lake. Oh, that lake. It wasn't just water, it was our sacred church with pews of driftwood, our endless playground of skipping stones and cannonballs that sent plumes exploding skyward like watery volcanoes, our family therapist where summer meant swimming lessons with Lila, perfecting her cannonball splash radius while Noah practiced floating on his back staring at clouds shaped like dinosaurs. Fall brought bass fishing marathons where patience was the real prize, and Lila learned the art of silence amid the lily pads. Winter delivered ice skating rinks when the freeze gripped early, and we'd glide under a blanket of stars with thermoses of hot cocoa steaming like dragon breath. The kind of place where memories didn't just happen, They stacked like sedimentary rock layer upon irreplaceable layer of pure, unfiltered joy pressed into permanence by time and love. Ruler pilfered from the dollar store. She photographs each blade individually for her violation scrapbook, who times garbage pickup to the second with a stopwatch app synced to atomic clocks. Hollow, haunted eyes of a man who surrendered his spine years ago in some long-forgotten battle, retreating to his cluttered garage workshop piled with half-finished birdhouses and rusty tools. She's ruled as president for 7 unrelenting years, elected unopposed not out of love, but sheer exhaustion. Nobody else craved the migraine of her leather-bound planner stuffed with color-coded tabs. And the barrage of passive-aggressive emails that drop at 6 p.m. sharp on Fridays for emergency Monday meetings. But somewhere along the winding road of unchecked power, she forgot, or perhaps never knew, that the HOA existed to serve the neighborhood, not to lord over it like a medieval baron collecting tribute in the form of violation notices and fines. Her lexicon drips with buzzwords like standards, compliance, and property values. But peel back the veneer, and it's all raw, unadulterated control, the kind that suffocates like Spanish moss in a bayou. That lake became her ultimate obsession, her white whale to harpoon. It ignited subtle at first, a so-called beautification initiative that laser-focused on houses guilty of lake view. Straight from our insurer demanding immediate restricted access to common water areas to avert liability nightmares that could bankrupt us all. I raised my hand, polite as a Boy Scout at Sunday brunch, requested a peek at the report, and Maggie's Botox-taut smile tightened into a garrote wire around her facade. The board will review all pertinent documentation in due course after proper and electrical permits daily like old dance partners. So I dialed the insurer myself, endured 4 eternal minutes of hold music featuring pan-flute renditions of elevator classics, and got one crisp minute of confirmation. No report, no mandate, nada but Maggie's manicured claws digging deeper into our communal lifeline. That revelation hit like a 440-volt jolt, propelling me into the bylaws. Not her solipsistic vendettas against fun. I didn't erupt in rage. Oh no, I channeled it into organization, firing up my wheezing inkjet printer till it coughed cartridges, crafting simple surveys on recycled paper, pounding pavement door to door with a clipboard and my most disarming grin. Neighbor, quick question. Cool with booking lake time 48 hours ahead like it's a root canal appointment? And the verdict rolled in like a tidal wave. 89% roared hell no. Even Maggie's loyal sycophants started fidgeting in their Adirondack chairs like they'd perched on hot coals, whispers of doubt rippling outward. She steamrolled regardless, timing the decisive vote for the Tuesday post-Labor Day when half our kid-filled families squeezed in final vacations. Squeaking her fence approval 3-1 with Treasurer Leonard abstaining like he was gargling shattered glass, his eyes darting like a trapped animal. By Thursday dawn, the invasion crew swarmed. Jackhammers chewing earth, concrete mixers growling like beasts, 8 feet of ornate black iron clawing skyward like a prison wall from Dante's Ninth Circle, topped with a laminated sign bellowing. Lake access by appointment only, 48 hours notice required. And as I rolled into my driveway sweat-soaked from a job site brawl with a faulty breaker panel, there was Maggie, serenely watering her prize petunias in a pastel cardigan that screamed innocence, humming a triumphant ditty like she'd cracked the lottery code, tossing me a condescending finger wave that whispered checkmate. Anymore, did we do something bad? Lila slamming her bedroom door with a muttered curse about peak Karen energy on steroids times infinity. The padlock's phantom clink echoing in my skull like a death knell for stolen childhoods, propelling me into the pickup at dusk for the county courthouse, that musty basilica of forgotten deeds smelling of aged paper, industrial carpet, and quiet desperation, where the kindly clerk, spectacles perched on her nose like a librarian sage, delved into basement archives and resurfaced with treasure, the sacred 1994 Silver Pines plat. The Deus ex machina dropped from heaven, lay in the parcel mismatch, that sacred access path never deeded to the HOA, abandoned when the developer tanked in the 2008 crash, reverted to the dusty, non-conforming, Slapping violation stickers on a quarter-sized oil drip while ignoring Greg's driveway resembling a Jiffy Lube apocalypse. Unleashing whisper campaigns poisoning mailboxes with tales of my aggressive demeanor toward female authority figures. Tuesday nights morphed into clandestine war council. My kitchen transformed into mission control, Formica table vanishing under greasy Chinese takeout cartons reeking of General Tso's sweet heat and fortune cookies promising victory, stacks of surveyor maps, bylaws tabbed like a lawyer's Bible, the air electric with printer ink and seething resolve. My brother Mike, the sharp-suited real estate shark from Chicago, barking guidance via speakerphone at dawn hours. Hypothetically, bro, buying state orphan land? 6 weeks if you dot every I, but show M community benefit and they'll fast track like it's hot. Retired Detective Harold Hal Jenkins, ex-Vice Squad legend with a notebook fetish, compiling a dossier thicker than Van, unlicensed commercial operation. The inspector sighed, waving it off. Emergency assessments floated for security upgrades that reeked of slush funds. My ex Claire ringing furious after her on home safety post Maggie's meddling tip-off. Each barb twisting the knife deeper into my paternal core. We countered with facts sharper than scalpels, me invoking homeowner rights to audit. HOA books, 3 formal demands, and an attorney bluff later. The ledgers spilled secrets. 12 grand funneled to Whitmore Landscaping, Greg's Ghost Company, for routine maintenance, with 0 bids. Projects phantom as Bigfoot, how cross-referencing invoices against visible improvements. Spoiler. Nada. Leonard the treasurer sweating under questioning till he cracked. I didn't approve. Those. Maggie's paranoia peaked. Grass measured blade by blade at 3.1 inches. Violation. Anonymous flyers decrying my investigated financial irregularities. A final nuclear board edict. Banning me from common areas as a trespass threat. Barb the secretary resigning mid-rant. Elderly neighbors bombarded with above-market cash offers from motivated investors to flip demographics her way. But the community stirred, Sophia's networks buzzing like beehives. Mrs. Grant's coffee clutches weaving nostalgia into nooses, neighbors swapping casseroles and commiseration. Noah's backyard hula hoop casting practice, each plink a metronome to closing day. The fence's wind hum a taunting countdown. My deed burning a hole in my pocket like a loaded revolver. Climax erupts Saturday 9 a.m. 27 families converging on the fence like pilgrims at Mecca, fishing rods aloft as battle standards, thermoses steaming rebellion-scented coffee. Kids' bikes gleaming like chariots, the air electric with dew and defiance. And cue Maggie's ivory Range Rover purring in like Sauron's chariot. Officer Ramirez's cruiser reluctant shadow. Channel 9 news van screeching curbside courtesy Sophia's tip to reporter Jasmine Park. Cameras rolling as Maggie catwalks forward. Folder clutched talisman tight. Voice thundering Oscar reel worthy. Illegal assembly on private HOA property. Disperse or face trespass charges. I part the crowd Moses style. Deed unfurling slow-mo like a surrender flag flipped to victory banner. Officer. Minor correction. This parcel's been state-owned 15 years, closed in my name 4 p.m. yesterday. My land, her fence trespassing. Gasps ripple like aftershocks, Maggie's face a rapid fire. Montage of denial, disbelief, rage, panic. Sputtering, impossible. HOA common area, as hell thrusts embezzlement dossier. Explain 12K to hubby's firm. No bids. Leonard nodding, records don't lie. Me booming for the lens. Fence drops today. Lake reopens forever. No fees, no schedules, just families, like God and Gramps intended. The cheer detonates cataclysmic, kids bolting past the gate in joyful stampede. Mrs. Grant's tears carving rivers down wrinkled cheeks. Even Ramirez grinning wolfish as I proffer bolt cutters like Arthur's sword. Iron panels crashing by noon into scrap heaps. Concrete grind scheduled legit. Noah hooking his first base post-siege. Scales flashing justice race. Epilogue montage 3 months on. Silver Pines reborn phoenix-like. Bylaws reborn with Maggie rule. Term caps. Transparency mandates. No solo power grabs. Audit clause back 9 grand for playgrounds. Accessible docks. Greg divorces quietly. Door-to-doors with coffee. Amends. She broke us all. Maggie's for sale sign sprouts weeds, fleeing to a sterile gated purgatory where rules reign supreme sans rebellion. I birthed the Caldwell Community Trust. Perpetuity easement ironclad, scholarships seeding eco-lawyers and planners, annual Lake Day Festival drawing tri-state, hordes swapping HOA war tales, Lila's Conservation Club testing waters. Noah bait master to tots. Dawn walks on Gramps' path mist-kissed, coffee steaming, knowing true power unlocks gates, nurtures dreams. Closure seals, gate obliterated, lake liberated. Paperwork pistol or call the cops. If your kid's joy got chained tomorrow, bolt cutters or bylaws. Spill in comments. The lake flows free, debate eternal.